You Need More Sleep. Here's Why by Ava, Anna, Lydia, and Josie. We chose to do sleep deprivation because it's an issue that a lot of people in our age and ourselves experience and deal with, and we wanted to learn more about it. We wanted to learn about the causes and what made sleep deprivation worse, and what we could do to prevent that, and then the physical health effects, like what it does to our bodies and how our bodies react to it. And then mental health effects, like how we can handle things emotionally after being sleep deprived for so long. And then the safety concerns, like how that affects workplaces and especially healthcare, because they are so important, and being sleep deprived and not at your best ability while working can be really dangerous. And then the long-term consequences that you can't avoid after chronic sleep deprivation. And then lastly, we wanted to know about sleep deprivation so that we could teach others about it and raise awareness.
Sleep deprivation is a process that allows the body to rest and recover. It's essential to being able to perform and work to your full ability. And sleep deprivation essentially is when someone doesn't get enough sleep to function properly. Different ages require different lengths of sleep. So newborns need the longest, and then the older you get, the less amount of sleep you need. And sleep can have high impacts on physical and mental health, so make sure you are getting enough of it. Sleep physiology. So rapid eye movement, or REM, and non-rapid eye movement, NREM, sum up basically the whole physiology of sleep. And there are 3 stages of NREM sleep that the body goes through before reaching REM. The stages of NREM usually last between 5 to 25 minutes, and REM sleep is reached about 90 minutes after initially falling asleep and going through the 3 phases of NREM. During the phases of NREM sleep, the body repairs and regrows tissues, builds bone muscles, and strengthens the immune system. Babies can spend up to 50% of their time in this stage, in the REM stage, while adults spend only 20%. Sleep patterns. Monophasic and biphasic are 2 different sleep patterns that people follow. The most common is monophasic, sleeping in one long period. Less common is biphasic, where you sleep in 2 separate periods, with usually taking a 2 to 4 hour break in between. Biphasic can reduce the risk of sleep deprivation, and having 2 sleep periods has been proven to increase activity, creativity, and alertness throughout the day. But monophasic is more common in the United States and easier to schedule around.
So the causes of sleep deprivation has greatly changed throughout time, but these are the most recent ones that are the biggest problems. So the first one is the major increase of technology use, especially at night. This is a big problem, mostly in teenagers and young adults, and it greatly decreases the amount of sleep people get, especially because of blue light, which blocks the secretion of melatonin. Another great cause of sleep deprivation is the first year of parenthood, especially the first 6 months. A lot of parents have to tend to the babies, so they lose a lot of sleep. And the last one is heavy work schedules, such as nurses that have to do 12-hour shifts, and a lot of other blue-collar workers and first responders. They lose a lot of sleep throughout the year. And some solutions that people have found helpful are aromatherapy, which is the use of diffusing essential oils to reduce stress, especially during bedtime, because stress and sleep are very related to each other. Another one is reducing screen time. As I said, the blue light blocks the melatonin production, so less technology, the better. And alcohol and caffeine create a lot of energy, which makes it harder to fall asleep. So avoiding those would be helpful. And the last one is physical exercise. The more energy you exert throughout the day, the easier it will be to sleep. Okay. So, in Utah, we're ranked the 16th in the US for insufficient sleep, and around 31% of people get less than 7 hours of sleep each night. So we're a little bit above average, and there's a few specific reasons why. So one of these reasons is the demographics. Utah has a lot of large families, and the population is relatively young. And so with families and parents, it means that they're gonna get a lot less sleep for parents because they have to raise kids, and a lot of times they end up having to work around their kids' schedules along with dealing with all the other things in life. And then a younger population also means that there's a lot of people in school, and school tends to have really early start times, which makes it hard, especially for teenagers, where their bodies shift to go to sleep later, and then they still have to wake up early, so it makes it difficult to sleep, along with extracurricular things for kids. And so this can just make all of them more at risk for sleep deprivation. And then culture also plays a role. Throughout the US and in Utah, productivity tends to be valued over sleep. So people value like accomplishment and success a lot, but consider rest to be more lazy and unmotivated, even though it's still necessary. So a lot of people in the United States end up putting things over sleep, and in Utah too. And then we also have a more outdoor oriented lifestyle and culture in Utah. So that just means a lot of people will go do things like skiing or hiking, and usually you have to wake up early or go and like stay out late to do things like this. So that part also plays a role in Utah's sleep deprivation. And then altitude and climate also impacts this because people have more difficulty sleeping at higher elevations just because it's harder to get oxygen to the brain and takes more effort. So lower oxygen has actually been shown to like directly affect the brain sleep center, and it just means that people sleep less and they sleep less restfully at higher elevations. And then Utah also has extreme temperatures, so like really hot summers and really cold winters, and this also changes how people sleep. So one of the most important things I've learned throughout researching this is the big impact that technology and blue light has on sleep deprivation, and how it's like the number one leading cause, and how blue light blocks melatonin. I learned about the effects of sleep deprivation and how bad they are. The physical and mental effects of sleep deprivation are a lot scarier than they seem at first, and they're long-term, and especially when you're younger and you're still developing, it can put a damper on developing and cause delays and just have a really big impact long-term the younger you are. And the long-term physical effects are a worse immune system, and you have higher chances of catching diseases, and they can be more deadly. And so just long-term being chronically sleep deprived is a lot more serious than it seems at first. Okay, so one cool thing I learned is that sleep and is actually impacted a lot more than you'd expect by cultural and social aspects throughout the world. And so different lifestyles in different countries can impact the way people sleep. And then in the US, a lot of people lose sleep because
there's this mentality of, being super successful and chasing your dreams, and which is good, but a lot of times people value productivity and those kind of things over sleep.
I learned a lot about the physiology of sleep involving the phases with rapid eye movement and non-rapid eye movement. And I also learned that about monophasic and biphasic sleep patterns. I didn't know that there was two different types that people follow, and I think it's really interesting how deep of a level you can get when researching sleep. Thanks for watching our presentation.